صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عن جابر بن عبد الله الأنصاري عن فاطمة الزهراء عليها السلام بنت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم قال: سمعت فاطمة أنها قالت: دخل علي أبي رسول الله في بعض الأيام فقال: السلام عليك يا فاطمة. فقلت: عليك السلام. قال: إني أجد في بدني ذوفا. فقلت له: أعوذك بالله يا أبتاه من الضعف. فقال: يا فاطمة، ائتيني بالكساء اليماني فغطيني به. فأتيته بالكساء اليماني فغطيته به وصرت أنظر إليه وإذا وجهه يتلألأ كأنه البدر في ليلة تمامه وكماله. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسن قد انطلق وقال: السلام عليك يا أماه. فقلت: عليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال: يا أماه، إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جد رسول الله. فقلت: نعم، إن جدك ذات الكساء. فأقبل الحسن نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا جداه يا رسول الله. أتأذن لي أن آخذ معك ذات الكساء؟ فقال: وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب عهدي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل معه ذات الكساء فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسن الحسين قد أقبل وقال: السلام عليك يا أماه. فقلت: عليك السلام يا ولدي ويا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال لي: يا أماه، إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. فقلت: نعم، إن جدك وأخاك ذات الكساء. فدنا الحسين نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا جداه. السلام عليك يا من اختاره الله. أتأذن لي أن أكون معكما تحت الكساء؟ فقال: وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافي أمتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل معهما تحت الكساء. فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب وقال: السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله. وعليك السلام يا. فقلت: وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين. فقال: يا فاطمة، إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وأمي رسول الله. فقلت: نعم، ها هو ولديك ذات الكساء. فأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا رسول الله. أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم ذات الكساء؟ قال له: عليك السلام يا أخي ويا وصي وخليفتي وصاحب لوائي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل علي ذات الكساء. ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقلت: السلام عليك يا أبتاه يا رسول الله. أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم ذات الكساء؟ وقال: وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بضعتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخلت تحت الكساء. فلما تملى جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ أبي رسول الله بطرفي الكساء وما بيده اليمنى إلى السماء وقال: اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وحامتي، لهم لحمي ولهم دمي، يؤلمني ما يؤلمهم ويحزنني سكان السماوات إني ما خلقت سماء مبنيا ولا أرضا مبنية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئة ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين أعطانا الكساء. فقال الأمين جبرائيل يا ربي ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل هم أهل بيت النبوة وغامد الرسالة هم فاطمة وأبوها وبنوها فقال جبرائيل يا رب أذن لنا بدل الأرض يكون ماؤهم سادسا. فقال الله نعم قد أذنت لك. فهبط الأمين جبرائيل وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله. العلي الأعلى يقرئك السلام ويقصك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مبنية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئة ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلك يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم وقد يأذن لي أن أكون معكم فأنتظرني يا رسول الله. فقال رسول الله وعليك السلام يا أمين وحي الله إنه نعم فقال لأبيه إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. فقال علي لأبي يا رسول الله أخبرني ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في مغفر من محافل أهل الأرض وفي جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي إذا والله فزنا والله فزنا وشيعتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال النبي ثانيا يا علي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في مغفر من محافل أهل الأرض وفي جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا وفي مهموم إلا فرج الله همه ولا مهموم إلا وكشف الله همه ولا طالب حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجته. فقال علي إذا والله فزنا وسعدنا وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا وسعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة ما صنعوا.
Islamic Jamaat Nahdlatul Personally Secretary of Islamic Jamaat Bapak Baik Leader Al-Badali Syahid Baik Ini tim બધાને તમને અમે તમને વેલકમ કરે છે આ ઇન્સ્યોરન્સના પ્રોજેક્ટ વાસ્તે. બીજા માણસો મને લાગે છે લાઈવ છે એ લોકો ઘરે જોશે જ્યારે લાઈવ પ્રોગ્રામ હોય તો બધાને ઘરે પ્રિફર કરે છે જવાનું. એક વસ્તુ છે કે મેસેજ પહોંચવું જોઈએ. આપણું જે એમ છે એ મેસેજ પહોંચાડવાનું ને મેસેજ પહોંચી જશે લોકો લાઈવ જોશે ત્યારે લોકોના ઘરમાં. બસ મને લાગે છે હવે આપણે ટાઈમ ચાલુ છે બિકોઝ તમને પાછી 4 વાગે જવાનું છે. તો અલીભાઈ હું તમને અલી કેબિન ઓફ હેલ્થ તમને વેલકમ કરું છું. એન્ડ નાઉ ધ સ્ટેજ ઇઝ યોર્સ. યુ કેન સ્ટાર્ટ ધ the life insurance program, and people will see life in everywhere. Welcome.
First of all, thank you very much for the opening welcome that you have given to us and my team. Just introduce the first on my right, Sheikh Ratansi, is the youngest secretary in probably all the world in Africa Federation. And thereafter we have a public relationship personnel. For the Central Zone, Mohamed Gawal Qasim. He was the one who did the first talk show on FM Live. I'll just give you a few 2-3 minutes brief on what we intend to do. We were chosen last year, we were recruited last year in August, and ever since then, for the tenure of 3 years, we have plans. We want to reform, bring changes in the health sector. To highlight, the first one, we want to do the life insurance, which my colleague, my brother, Mohamed Gawal Qasim is going to explain in detail. The second one is health insurance. The third one is community health discount, cash discount. We acknowledge and we understand that the health discounts, the health centers, the hospitals, the medicine, the prices are rising. In order to say we have already started negotiating with a lot of hospitals, and we don't want those barriers to come. Example, a person from Zanzibar, when he visits in Dar es Salaam, he wants to buy medicine, he should be able to get the discount. If he visits any hospital, be it Jiba, be it Aga Khan, be it Safety, and we have been engaging almost all of them, and we have got this discount in place. We have not signed the contracts. The reason we have not signed the contracts because we have to have the logistics in place. So this logistics I'll just explain on the board. So this was cash discounting. So health insurance, life insurance, cash discounting. The fourth one is to have an app. This app, what we want to do is that, when we get sick, after 4 or 5 years, again we go, at times there are certain symptoms, we don't have any records. Things, world is changing. So now we want an app whereby we store all our medical issues on our own app. So when you go to the doctor, it becomes easy to explain where you are sick. It becomes easy. If there are any medicines, diabetes treatment, all those apps we can have. On the same app, we are also intending to have the cash discounting side. You go to any pharmacy, you go to any hospitals in which we have, be it anywhere, where we have the understanding with them, they just take your phone, they see at the back end, and you get the discount. There are hospitals, they are giving up to 40%. And this is going to save money. This is going to boost our economy within our families. We have community screening. We don't know where we are, where we want to go. That's one of the challenges. We don't have any data. One of the things that we have done is that we have been negotiating with various hospitals. We wanted a community screening. The type of screening that we are looking is a comprehensive but unaffordable. The comprehensive is cancer marker test, because right now we have been looking at cancers, patients coming up. We have heart, we have lungs, we have liver checks, we have diabetes, all of them are comprehensive. Based on that, thereafter we'll be able to move forward. We'll be able to define the roadmaps. Number 6, to have more medical evidence. Our team has been negotiating and discussing medical facilities in South Africa, in Kenya, and now in also Iran. Iran has an emerging technology with better rates. Believe me, the cataract operation, what we see here, that's affordable there, good technology at $150. So we want our community members to have a good one. We are also intending to have to implement during our tenure air ambulance, the places whereby we don't have facilities for the ambulance services or the health services. We need to lift our members from that region. That's one of the projects that we want to embark. One good example that we want to do also on app is to have all community be it in Dar es Salaam, be it in Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Madagascar, and thereafter we want to connect to the rest of the world. Example, during COVID time, Africa was the last one to be hit. But had we had that experience shared, probably we would have been prepared. We would have been prepared better. We would also all our religious halls function to have emergency setups. Like something happens, E&E machines, fast responders, first aid, real training. But we want those things. This is our wish. This is our dream. And that's how we will. Without taking up your time, I would request my brother, Muhammad Jawad, to come and tell you about this life insurance project which we have embarked. We have already negotiated, and we shall wait to hear from you, your questions, your doubts. And I'm sure after listening to this presentation, you will all agree that this is going to be a benefit to our community and members at large. So I request my brother Muhammad Jawad.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. I'll break it down for you in simpler terms so that everyone at home and wherever you're watching from, it's easy. So the life insurance, what is a life insurance? It's really straightforward. It's an agreement between the policy owner, which in this case is African Federation, on behalf of the person paying the premium, and the insurance company, whose details will be released closer to time. It's a life insurance, so obviously medical is not involved in this. It's pretty much only to do with life. And if you go to the next slide, one of the most important questions that has been asked over time is why do we need a life insurance? A lot of times, especially in Tanzania, you will see that when the breadwinner, the person earning money for the house, passes on, the family is usually left, wondering what to do with what's happening around them. Many times you see that the breadwinner is only one person, and once that person passes on, it leaves the entire family not only broken, but also looking for ways to sustain themselves. Now, the advantage with the life insurance policy is that once the policy owner dies, so not the policy owner, the guy that has insured himself passes on. Okay, so we're just having some technical issues here. So, in terms of why do you need a life insurance policy, like I mentioned, a lot of times it's to do with the breadwinner passing on, and families are left into pieces. It's also an investment for your family for the years to come when they're looked after. It also gives the family a sense of security, a sense of belonging, that they know that they will be covered should anything happen to the breadwinner. Now, the most important question that we keep getting asked is about the scope of cover. What happens, how many types of covers are available, who is eligible to be covered. So there's three available options. There is the option of $25,000, $50,000, and $100,000. That is the fee payable to the family once the breadwinner passes on, depending on what option you choose. Now, there's a lot of things that are covered under this life insurance policy. One of them is the funeral expense benefit, which means that the person who has insured themselves, in this case, if I insure myself with this policy, when I do pass on, my family and the people that I have mentioned in my policy will be paid $1,500 to facilitate my funeral costs, okay, and $500 further on the dependent. So the dependent can be your one wife that will be mentioned in the policy and a maximum of 4 children. So should they pass on, or any one of them passes on, you will be paying $500 for each of them. Now, the benefits of this is pretty much a lot of times when these things do happen, a lot of times there are people who pass on when they are in other countries. So for example, the trend in the Khoja world is that individuals pass on when they go for medical treatment in India, Dubai, South Africa. This policy covers you in all these countries. You are not bound by a particular country. You have no geographical limitations. And therefore, it takes 5 working days for you to be given the entire payment, which is whatever your policy is, $25, $50, or $100,000. And that is obviously dependent on the documentation that you submit to the company. Now, the other thing, which is one of the most exciting things about this policy, is to do with disability. A lot of times you do see that our communities, sadly, we tend to lose our people to harsh disability concerns. For example, you have individuals not being able to walk anymore, you have individuals who lose their limbs, and therefore there is a cover for permanent and total disability. So, in case Mr. ABC does go through a disability, a permanent disability, he gets paid his entire cover, which is again dependent on the policy that he chooses, 25, 50 or 100, once he is alive. So let's say if I have insured myself with this policy, and I have insured myself for $25,000, God forbid if I do go through a disability, then my family and myself will be given the entire policy cover once I am alive, which helps me to move on and carry out my daily activities. Now, we also know that in the current world that we live in, there is a huge trend of illnesses, from cancer to malaria to now the recent COVID-19 and many more. This policy also has a critical illness benefit, which means that you can be paid once in your lifetime a benefit payable fee, which is only payable once in your lifetime of a member upon first-time diagnosis of the following conditions. So I'll just name a few: heart attack, stroke, cancer. Obviously, cancer does have a few cancers that is not covered. Coronary or artery disease, a major organ transplant, a kidney failure, blindness or paralysis. Now, I'll give you an example. Should an individual go through a heart attack, for example, and he has insured himself with this life insurance policy, he will be paid a 30% benefit payable fee during his livelihood. So, when I do go, let's say, to India or to Ibrahim Haji or to any hospital around the world, and I have been diagnosed with a heart attack, and I do go through a surgery for the heart attack. Obviously, the surgery needs to be an open heart surgery. If I do get that, and if I am diagnosed with that, and I do carry out the surgery, then I will be paid 30% of my policy. So, if my policy is covering me for $50,000, then I will be paid $15,000. It is also important to note this $15,000 is not deducted from your final $50,000 when you move on. So you will be paid $15,000 after your surgery, and then once you do move on, your family still gets the full cover, which is the $50,000 that you insure yourself against. Obviously this will be sent out to everyone, but I'll just say critical illnesses that are covered: cancer, but there are a few cancers that are not included, which are skin cancers. We also have tumors in the presence of any human immune deficiency virus, example HIV, is not covered under this policy. Paraplegia, that is covered, however, the loss of one limb is not covered, so it has to be both limbs in order to receive this benefit payment. Stroke covered. The only condition in stroke is that an infection of brain tissue as a result of external injury, that is not covered. A major organ transplant is covered if it's human to human. Exclusion is that the transplant of any other organs is excluded. Now, all of this is obviously technicalities that you will be sent out on your WhatsApps, or a printout can be obtained later. Blindness is also covered in this. So should someone go through permanent blindness, which is total blindness, then they are also covered under this policy. Now, a lot of times we get asked questions about COVID-19, whether COVID-19 is also covered in this policy. Yes, it is covered, but the claims will be paid on a case-to-case basis. COVID-19 is, however, not classified as a critical illness. Now, maybe 2-3 years down the line, or 5 years down the line, God forbid, another disease does come up, then your policy shall be updated accordingly. Okay, now this is where it gets very interesting. You are allowed to be under the life insurance policy until the age of 75. So anything until the age of 75. However, anyone who is below 65, that individual does not need a medical test to apply for this policy. If you are between 65 to 75, you need to go through a medical examination in order to qualify for this policy. If you do not do that, if you're between 65 to 75, then you fall under the non-compliant members. Now, I will also take this opportunity to mention this. A lot of times you will see that life insurance policies require a detailed medical examination, but the African Federation Health Board has managed to negotiate with this insurance company that anyone who is below the age of 65 does not require a medical examination, and therefore you can enroll without a medical examination. The process takes around 3 months. So I'll give an example. One of the questions we usually get asked is, if I pay my cover tomorrow, which is, let's say, $100 a year or $20 a year, how long until my policy gets activated? It takes 3 months to get activated. Now, should you wait the 3 months, and then let's say you pass on 6 months after that during your policy cover, does your family get paid? Yes, they do get paid your policy cover. So, who is eligible for what under this? I'll just run this through quickly. So the death benefit, the minimum entry for anyone to benefit from this age benefit payout has to be 18 years old, and the maximum cover is 75 years. For the critical illnesses, again, the minimum age is 18 years and maximum cover is up to 65 years. For children, it's from anyone from birth to 21 years, and then children between age 21 to 25, you will have to show their proof of schooling. And for a spouse, for your spouse to get any of these benefits, she has to be, or he has to be, a minimum age of 18 years and a maximum cover of 75 years. Now, what is not covered in this, which is very famous in Zanzibar, for example, sports that are dangerous, skydiving, bungee jumping, paragliding, anything that happens during that, you do not get covered in your insurance policy. Obviously, not the right word to mention in Imambargha, but Alcohol indulgence is also not covered. Drugs not prescribed by a registered medical practitioner. Attempted suicide, intentional self-injury is also not covered. That disqualifies the policy. Active participation in strikes and civil commotion and active participation in terrorism is also not covered. Okay, and this is the best part of it, which is the numbers. So, you have three options for the policy. There is a policy for $25,000, there's a policy for $50,000, and there's a policy that covers you for $100,000. The last expense member, which is obviously the time for the funeral, that's capped at $1,500 irrespective of your policy cover. The last expense dependent, $500, like I mentioned earlier. The critical illness maximum is 30% of the sum assured. So, if I have covered myself for $25,000 during my lifetime, I go through a critical illness, my family gets paid 30% of $25,000, which is $7,500. If I insure myself for $50,000, then I get paid $15,000. If I covered myself for $100,000, then I get paid $30,000. The cap maximum is $30,000 US. And finally, to make things very, very easy for you, how much do you have to pay every year to qualify under this policy? So, if you are between the age of 18 to 65 years old, you will be required to pay US dollars 120 per year to be able to be covered under the $25,000 policy. And if you want to cover yourself for the $50,000 US dollars policy, then you're going to have to pay $243 a year. And if you would like to cover yourself for $100,000, then you will be required to pay $400 a year. Now, if I was to break that down for you, that means if you want to cover yourself for $25,000 when you move on, that's around 30,000 shillings per month that you need to put aside to pay for your policy. If you want to do the $50,000, then you're looking at around 55,000 shillings per month to put aside. And if you want to cover yourself for $100,000, then you're looking at around 90 to 100,000 shillings per month. However, the policy changes when you turn 65 to 75. For $25,000, you will be required to pay $239 a year. For $50,000, you will be required to pay $486 a year. And for $100,000, you will be required to pay $805 US. The pricing in the premium will increase in case of medical condition, as we mentioned earlier. And medical screening is a must for anyone between 65 to 75, and your medical cost shall be, the medical test cost shall be reimbursed to you by the insurance company. So this is pretty much it. If I was to make it simple in Gujarati, it's very simple. Tran option છે $25,000, $50,000, $1,00,000. જે તમે પોતાને ઇન્શ્યોર કરશો તો ત્યારે તમે અલ્લાહના પ્યારા થઈ જશો તો તમારી ફેમિલીને આ બેનિફિટ મળી શકે. વર્ષના કાંઈ $100 છે યા $400 છે, ડિપેન્ડ થાય છે તમે કઈ પોલિસી ચૂઝ કરશો. The only reason I am also actively involved in assisting Ali Raza's team and Shahid's team is because this is something that our community has been needing for years. You know, we have seen, and I'm sure you have all seen, Zanzibar in its prime had the biggest Jamaat at one time. It had pioneers, it had people who, you know, brought about a huge change in everyone's life. And unfortunately, some of them moved on, passed on. some of them relocated. And during the passing on, we lost a lot of families because of insufficient funds, because they didn't have anyone that could look after them. My maternal side is from the Zanzibar heritage, so I do hold that very high and proudly. But this is something that we all need to sit down, we need to look into it, and it's something I would urge everyone to do it. If you can cover your family when you move on for just as little as 30,000 shillings a month, then I'm sure we can all do that. If you were to stay away from Adani for 7 days, you could save that money and secure your child and your family's future. Now, I know this is a lot of information to digest, but I'm here, the team's here, we are ready to answer any questions that you have, or any suggestions that you may have, and we will give out the registration forms, so if anyone is interested in embarking on this journey, then please do fill out the forms and then you can hand it over to your Jamaat representative. So, thank you very much, and I'll hand it over to Ali Raza.
Thank you, Brother Muhammad Jawad. I'm anticipating to receive some questions from you. I have also got a request from Akbar to try to also switch the language in Gujarati. I'll try my best to pass on this information, and that's the important part of what we are doing. My brothers, my sisters, my mothers, my fathers, a life insurance, why did we come? What was the reason? I first want you to understand the importance of it. You know, the breadwinner, જે નોકરી કરતો હોય છે, જેનું બિઝનેસ હોય છે, એનું પહેલું વિચાર એ હોય છે જે અગર એને કાંઈ થાય તો એની ફેમિલીનું શું, એના બચ્ચાનું શું, એના મા બાપનું શું. The bread earner, જે નોકરી કરે છે, જે ઘરમાં પૈસા લેવાય છે, અગર ઈ થાય, આપણે બધા જાણે છે મોત તો બરહક છે, બરાબર? આજે નહીં તો કાલે આપણે બધા જાણશું, and that is a promise. But આપણે ઓલવેઝ વિચાર કરે છે અગર મને કાંઈ થાય, હું બ્રેડ અર્નર હોઉં છું, તો મારી ફેમિલીને શું થશે, આ લોકોની કોણ ધ્યાન રાખશે, મારા બચ્ચા સ્કૂલ કેવી રીતના ભણશે, છત હશે કે નહીં હોય, રેન્ટ કેવી રીતના મળશે, ખાવાનું કેવી રીતના ખાશે. In order to have that, આપણે CHB વિચાર કર્યા આપણે લાઈફ ઇન્સ્યોરન્સ સાથે. લાઈફ ઇન્સ્યોરન્સ જે આપણે આવે છે જ્યારે કોઈ માણસ ઓફ થાય એ ફેમિલીમાં, જે બ્રેડ અર્નર થયું, એઝ્યુમ એના પાસે એક પોલિસી છે, તો આ પૈસા જ્યારે આવે છે એ જાય છે જે બેનિફિશરી, જે ઓલો માણસ રાખ્યો હતો, જે પ્રોબેબલી એની વાઈફને જાય, એને ખબર છે એના મા બાપને જાય, એના બચ્ચાને આવે, જેના પાસે જાય એ જે ચૂઝ કરશે એ લોકો પાસે થશે, ને કેટલા ટકા કેવી રીતના હશે એક. સો દેટ વોઝ ધ થોટ પ્રોસેસ. આપણે વિચાર કર્યા કેવી રીતના કરીએ. કાલ સવારે એ રીતના થઈ શકે જવાન માણસ ઓફ થઈ જાય, એના પાસે બચ્ચા છે, જે સ્કૂલમાં નથી ગયા, બરાબર? સ્કૂલમાં કેવી રીતના થશે, ક્યાં જશે માંગવા, આપણે ઇજ્જતવાળી છે, કોઈ ફેર હાથ માંગવાનું. સો દેટ ઇઝ ધ રીઝન આપણે લાઈફ ઇન્સ્યોરન્સ પાસે. લાઈફ ઇન્સ્યોરન્સ એ બે કાંઈ નથી, એક છે ટર્મ ને એક છે પર એનમ. ટર્મમાં તમે કહેવાય 20 વર્ષ સુધી તમે પૈસા ભરતા જાઓ, ને કદાચ તમે અગર જીરા હો તો તમારા પૈસા ગયા. ને બીજું છે પર ટર્મ, પર એનમ. વર્ષમાં અગર એ માણસને કાંઈ થયું તો એની ફેમિલી જે બેનિફિશરીને રાખ્યો છે એ લોકોને પૈસા મળશે. તો આપણે ચૂઝ કર્યા પર ટર્મ. All these years આપણા પાસે કાંઈ એવી પોલિસી નથી આવી. This is the first time we have done. We need to start somewhere to secure our families, to secure our children, to secure our household. But in order for that, આપણે આ વિચાર કર્યો. Now, in order for us to have a life insurance, આપણે એક જરૂરત, we wanted to define આ કેવી પોલિસી હોય જેમાં આપણે પહેલા કેટલા શિલિંગ મળે. પહેલું વિચાર કરતા હતા વોટ ઇઝ ધ કમ્ફર્ટેબલ અમાઉન્ટ. આ ખાલી ટાન્ઝાનિયામાં નથી. આપણે કેન્યાનો વિચાર કર્યા, રૂવાન્ડાનો વિચાર કર્યા, મડાગાસ્કરનો વિચાર કર્યા, બુરુંડી, રૂવાન્ડા ને આપણે સમજ્યા અગર કોઈ પાસે આજે $1,00,000 હોય, which is 260 million, તો કદાચ 5 વર્ષ સુધી એની ફેમિલી પાસે છત હશે, એના બચ્ચાનું સ્કૂલ ભરવાનું, અગર ખુદા ના કરે લોકોને મેડિકલની જરૂર પડી, એ લોકો ભરી શકશે. એની ફેમિલી રસ્તામાં નહીં આવી જ્યારે કોઈ માણસ ઓફ થઈ જાય. અગર આજે ઓલા બ્રેક અર્નરને $100 ભેગા કરવું હોય, એને $1,00,000 વાસ્તે એને 83 years લાગશે. 83 years. આપણું લાઈફ એક્સપેક્ટન્સી ઇન Tanzania is 67 years. Based on that average, આપણે કોઈ દિવસ $1,00,000 નહીં આવે. આપણા બચ્ચા હોય એ મોત બરક છે, કઈ લાગેલું નથી જે above 65 a person would die. A person can die an accident, કાંઈ બી થઈ શકે. બરાબર, death is inevitable. We can't stop it. It's going to come. But this is our fear. અગર તમે $50,000 ખપાય તમારી ફેમિલી વાસ્તે તો તમને 41 years લાગશે. અગર તમે $25,000 અગર રાખો તમારા ફેમિલી વાસ્તે તો તમે લાગશે 22 years. Based on that criteria આપણે આ negotiate કર્યું જે $1,50,000 ને 25. Most of the things were coming બધા countries બધાને local currency માં આપો. હવે આજે ઝૂમ કરો તમે લોકલ કરન્સીમાં તમે TZS માં ભરે, પણ કાલે ડીવેલ્યુ થઈ ગયું તો આજે તમે 200 મિલિયન શિલિંગ મળતા હતા એ 200 મિલિયન ડીવેલ્યુ થઈ ગયું $80,000. એક્સપેન્સીસ કરે છે, દિવસે દિવસે ખર્ચા કરે છે. સો બેઝડ ઓન ધેટ આપણે કીધા આપણે ડોલરમાં કરવું છે. ધીસ ઇઝ વોટ વી નેગોશિએટ. $1,50,000 ને 25. એમાં બીજા ફાયદા. એમાં ફાયદા ખાલી એ નથી જે ઓન ધ ડેથ ઓફ ધ બ્રેડ વિનર. એમાં બીજો એ ફાયદો, એમાં ફાયદા છે અગર કોઈ માણસ ઓફ થઈ જે પોતે જેના ઉપર ઇન્સ્યોરન્સ, આ ઇન્સ્યોરન્સ જેના મારો ભાઈ મમ્મી જવાબ સમજાયો જે ઓલા મેઇન મેમ્બરના ઉપર આ લોકો $1,500 આપશે. $1,500 ઓલા મોત વાસ્તે, એને કહેવાય છે ફ્યુનરલ એક્સપેન્સ. પણ અગર ઓલો માણસ જે ઓફ થઈ ગયો એની વાઇફ, એક વાઇફ જેને સ્પેસિફાઈ કરવાનું છે, એ અગર ઓફ થઈ ગઈ જે મેમ્બર નથી તો એને $500 મળશે. એના પાસે 4 બચ્ચા સુધી અગર કોઈ બી 4 બચ્ચાની મોત થઈ ગઈ તો લોકોને $500 લોકો આપશે. જે એજ છે 0 to 21, from 22 to 25 તમે જસ્ટિફાઈ કરવાનું જે બચ્ચો સાથે બનતો હતો, because he is already classified as adult. This is number 2. Number 3, why this life insurance is so lucrative. ઘણા લાઈફ ઇન્સ્યોરન્સ પોલિસીસ છે જેના આપણે ગાડીના લાઈફ ઇન્સ્યોરન્સ કરે છે. ફર્સ્ટ ક્લાસ પાર્ટી, એ પાર્ટી, થર્ડ પાર્ટી. બરાબર, ફર્સ્ટ પાર્ટીમાં જ્યારે બે કરે, બે સાઈડે કરે. થર્ડ પાર્ટીમાં તમે કાંઈ કવર નથી થતું પણ ડેમેજ આવી જાય છે. આમાં ઇન્સ્યોરન્સમાં અલગ રિસ્ક જોઈ છે, પણ આપણી ટીમ હેઝ મેનેજ that આપણે કોઈ બી સવાલ પૂછા નહીં કરે ફ્રોમ એજ ઓફ 18 to 65. અલોક આપણે પૂછા નહીં કરે જે મેડિકલ તમે કાંઈ ઇશ્યુ છે કે નથી, એનવે તમે કારણ આપો કેમ આપણે એને નેગોશિએટ કરીએ. એકોર્ડિંગ ટુ શરીયત, એકોર્ડિંગ ટુ આયતુલ્લાહ સિસ્તાન આપણે બધું પૂછા કર્યા એન્ડ ધેર આફ્ટર વી એમ્બાર્ક ધીસ પ્રોજેક્ટ. ઇન્સ્યોરન્સ લાઈફ ઇઝ અલાઉડ, પ્રોવાઇડેડ. આપણે ખોટું નથી બોલતું, આપણે ખોટું ના બોલે. હવે અગર આપણી કોમ્યુનિટીમાં બીમારી છે ને આપણે ખોટું બોલે છે, દેન આપણે જે વસ્તુ કરે છે જાયઝ નથી. સો ધ નેગોશિએશન વિથ વી હેવ that they are not going to ask us for any health problems. એ આપણામાં હેલ્થ પ્રોબ્લેમ્સ હશે કદાચ ના હોય, so they are not going to ask you anything. Anyone above 65, that is 66 years to 75, we will need a medical screening because અલોકાય રિસ્ક જોઈ છે. આપણું લાઈફ એક્સપેક્ટન્સી તમે સમજાવ્યું. So 66 to 75 it is there. And one of the things આપણે ખપતું તો અલોકાય માનસ કરે because આપણે નથી ખપતો આપણા વઝે, આપણા બુઝુર્ગ ને આપણે ભૂલી જાય. આજે આપણે અહીંયા છે, કાલે ઓલી કેટેગરીમાં આપણે બેસું. So we have negotiated, we want to take. બધા લોકો બ્રેડ અર્નર્સ હોય છે, જે હોય છે, this is how it is going. So I spoke about death benefit જે $25,000 છે, $50,000 છે ને $1,00,000 છે. પછી તમે ફ્યુનરલ એક્સપેન્સના બારમાં જે 1,500 ને 500. હું તમે કીધું કે મેડિકલ નથી, તમે શરીરનું કવર કર્યું. હવે આવે છે ધ ફોર્થ પોઈન્ટ. ધ ફોર્થ પોઈન્ટ જે તમે આ ઇન્સ્યોરન્સમાં મળશે, ભૂલ ખુદા ના થાય, આપણે બધા બીમારીથી બચવું. અગર ફર્સ્ટ ટાઈમ જે ઓલો મેમ્બર જે ઇન્સ્યોર્ડ હતો, અગર એને કોઈ બીમારી થઈ, ફોર એક્ઝામ્પલ કેન્સર, એને સ્ટ્રોક થાય, એ પેરેલાઇઝ થઈ, બરાબર, એક્સિડન્ટ ખુદા ના કરે, એના 2 પગ વટાઈ ગયા, હવે એ કામ નથી કરી શકતો, એની 2 આંખ વટાઈ ગઈ, એ જોઈ નથી શકતો, તો એ ઘરમાં ખાવાનું કેવી ના લેશે, પૈસા શું હશે, ઇન્કમ કેવી ના છે, રેન્ટ કેવી ના ભરશો, બચ્ચાની સ્કૂલ ફીસ કેવી ના કરશે, ખર્ચા મેડિકલના કેવી ના થશે. These are આ બધા સવાલ તમે કીધા કરશે. ઓલો જે બ્રેડ રબર હોય છે ને, these are the questions that comes in his mind. Based on this insurance policy, what we are having, એમાં લોકો તમે 30% of your insured amount આપે છે. What is this 30%? $1,00,000 30% is $30,000. જેમાંથી તમારું મેડિકલ એ થઈ શકે. And this is not deductible from your final agreed amount. 50,000 ના 30% $15,000. So you can go and treat. કોઈને આજે સ્ટ્રોક આવ્યો, is paralyzed. આ તો કોઈ ગયો ઓપન હાર્ટ સર્જરી, હાર્ટ એટેક હતું, ઓપન હાર્ટ સર્જરી. You require funds. ઉદા કર્યો તો જિંદગી લાંબી પણ આ મેડિકલ કોસ્ટ કોણ પડશે, ક્યાં કાઢશે? So this is how we are going to cover. You can actually use it. બીજું જે છે $25,000, જેમાં તમે 7,500 માં. So this is another one. જે આને કહેવાય છે permanent disability. Critical illness. Yeah, critical illness માં I'll just read out. Cancer is covered. The cancer that is not covered, the cancer that is not covered is the skin cancer. That is a cosmetic one. You can work. The second fact, the cancer that is not covered, જેના cells expand નથી થતા, ફેલાતા નથી, બોડીમાં ફેલાતા નથી. કેન્સરના સેલ હોઈ શકે પણ ફેલાતા નથી. So that is how it is not covered. બીજું જે છે સ્ટ્રોક. કોઈ માણસને સ્ટ્રોક આવ્યો, બરાબર, એ સ્ટ્રોકમાં શું થાય, માણસ પેરેલાઇઝ થઈ જાય. આપણે જોયા છે કોઈના હાફ સાઈડ કામ નથી કરતું, સ્પીચ ગુમ થઈ જાય છે, તો એમાં તમે એ પૈસા 30% મળે. પણ તમે પૈસા નહીં મળે અગર તમે ઝોન આઉટ સ્ટ્રોક થશે. વોટ ઇઝ અ ઝોન આઉટ સ્ટ્રોક? ઝોન આઉટ સ્ટ્રોકમાં કોઈ માણસને સ્ટ્રોક આવે, એ ખાલી હાફ એન અવર વાસ્તે ઝોન થઈ ગયું, ઝોન આઉટ થઈ ગયું, પણ પાછો ઇઝ રિકવર. So you don't get that money, and that is a fair deal. Major organ transplant. અગર કોઈની ટ્રાન્સપ્લાન્ટ હોય પણ પ્રોવાઇડર, it should be from a donor to the life assured of one or more of the following organs: heart, liver, lungs, pancreas or bone marrow. Okay, આજે હું બોલ્યો જે કિડની, લંગ, લીવર, હાર્ટ, આ વસ્તુના અંદર તમે ટ્રાન્સપ્લાન્ટ કરવાનું હોય તો તમે આ ઇન્સ્યોરન્સ સ્કીમ તમે 30% આપશે, પ્રોવાઇડિંગ હ્યુમન ટુ હ્યુમન. એન્ડ ધીસ આર ધ ઓનલી થિંગ. ઇટ શુડ નોટ બી અ કોર્નિયલ વન ઓર બીજું કાંઈ. ધીસ આર ધ ઓનલી થિંગ. પેરાલેગિયામાં ઠીકના હોય છે, અગર કોઈ ઇન્સાનના એક પગ એઝ્યુમ કરો ગુમ છે, એક્સિડન્ટ, ઈ કાન્ટ ફંક્શન, યુ આર નોટ એલિજિબલ. પણ અગર 2 ગુમ થઈ ગયા દેન યુ આર એલિજિબલ. અથવા 2 હાથ વટાઈ ગયા, અથવા 2 આંખ વટાઈ ગઈ, then you are eligible. Total blindness means 2. Total limbs means 2 of the hands, 2 of the legs. આ વસ્તુ આ બધી એક્સ્ટ્રા મળે છે. અપાર્ટ ફ્રોમ ધ ડેથ બેનિફિટ, જે માણસ જે ઓફ થઈ ગયો, જેના પાછળ તમે લાખ મળે છે, 50,000 મળે છે કે 25, એના ઉપર અગર આ થયું, ઉદાર ના કરે, મોટર બાઇકમાં ગયું, કોઈને એક્સિડન્ટ, 2 પગ વટાય, you will get that amount, 30% of that amount. Kidney failure, big kidney heart failure, you get that amount. Heart attack, yes, you get that amount. Barabar? So, આ તમે help કરશે. પણ તમે proof કરવાનું medically, these are other processes. So this is another part. Total disability તમે સમજાવવા, funeral નું સમજાવવા, death benefit સમજાવવા. So these are the benefits. Now, why is it a lucrative? કેમ આપણે લાગે છે this is something lucrative? And I'll explain you. Number one, in order to have આજે કોઈ બી $1,00,000 નું તમે ઇન્સ્યોરન્સ જાઓ, લાઈફ ઇન્સ્યોરન્સ કરવા, I can guarantee you from here, you will not get anything less than 3 million shillings. It should go above. આ પ્રિવિલેજ પડે ને. Zindagi your money are gone. But what is the amount that we are losing? This is what we need to understand. આપણે કેટલા શિલિંગ પડે છે? મારો ભાઈ તમે ફાઇન એક્ઝામ્પલ આપ્યું. તમે કીધું ફરોઝાની નહીં જાઓ, 7 દિવસ નહીં જાઓ તો થશે. That's what he said. હું તમે બીજા રીતે આપું છું. હું તમે કહું છું in case $1,00,000, assumingly જે આપણે બધા 65 ના નીચે છે, ને આપણે બધા જાણે છે મોત બરહદ છે, આપણે પોતે બોલે છે ખુલ્લું નસીબ, સાયકલ પર. Every soul shall test of them, and this is our worry, yeah, to secure your families. अगर $1,00,000 હોય તો the premium is $403. $403. If you divide by 365, it's coming to $1.1. It is less than $1.5 a day. It is less than 3,000 shilling a day. It is less than 2,900 a day. अगर आपने फुसूल करे थे, जे लोग भी सोपारी खाधा, स्मोकમાં ગયા, જ્યુસ વધારે પીધા છે, હેલ્ધી વસ્તુ નથી, સોડા લીધા, these are not healthy. But अगर आपने सेव करे, so this is going to help our community, our potani family वास्ते. Assume that a person could not afford $1,00,000. $50,000 no, $203, $243 for $50,000. 243 for $50,000. Let's divide by 365. It's $1.1 a day for that insured. Bijo say $0.5, 0.66. Take it 0.7. Let's assume that we couldn't afford it. After $25,000, and you say 120. And look at what I said, $0.33. What is 0.33 times 2,700? Let's take the highest. What's the rate here? 2,700? Take 2,700. Almost 1,000 shilling. Yeah? Less than that, it's coming to 900. We are taking 1,000 exchange rate. Yeah? What I'm saying is that this amount is going to secure your families. This is not for the person. As it is, a person dies, he doesn't take this money. But that worry of yours, mara bachane, my family, and if you go and see apart from the death benefit, it has all this critical benefit. When is the last time we did our full body check? What is our status? But tomorrow, we are already late, and that is why we are emphasizing that we should have. So, Hari Vinanti, it's a request. We have worked for it, for our community. We want this benefit our community to have. So, we would want, it's our wish, it's our dream, that Bada bread earners, at least they should secure themselves. So, we started here, and what are the general terms? So generally in life insurance, it's 3 months waiting period. In case of death, after 3 months there, then you are eligible. So these are kind of things that we need to do. And after that, inshallah, we'll go for another projects that I said on the introductory part. And I also spoke to Mohammed Akbar in the offices, this project what we want to embark. And we don't need a rocket science to achieve. We don't need rocket science. We can actually achieve all these things. So this is a summary about life insurance, and we have given this project to you. We have come to launch to you. It's the first Jamaat, and I now welcome any questions that you may have. You can ask us, and I'll try my best to respond.
I have a question on behalf of Brother Mehdi Karim. Can you please ask Ali Raza Bandali regarding the coverage of someone that has HIV/AIDS? Will it be covered?
What is the issue?
Yes, Doctor.
So I'll come. So this is one of the plus points what our team has done. Mohammed, Shahid, our team. I clearly state, anyone from 18 years to 65, you will not be asked any of your medical things. Shariatan, you are open. Anyone above 66, anyone above 65, he'll need to do medical tests. And probably if he knows what are the diseases that he has, then he has to mention. However, in those cancer, my brother had also said exclusion, that if such kind of immune diseases are there, then they are not part of, they don't qualify for those 30%. However, if it is below age, I don't see anywhere in the forms asking for medical.
I would like to thank CHD for coming up with this nice policy. And indeed, it's very operative, very well explained. My question is, if I'm below 65, and if I cross 65, will I need medical examination? And what are the reasons? Can I fail the medical examination and be out of the policy? What if I cross 80? Am I still eligible for this policy as well?
Thank you for the compliments. Yes, apart from this, as mentioned in the introductory, we still have more exciting projects that will come, including health and medical screening, cash discounting, facilities beyond East and Central Africa, in Asian continent. We are in talks. My brother here, Shahid, he was in talks with G Good Hospital from India. So lots of things have been done. With regards to the life insurance, there are two kinds of things, and I want to explain you. The first one is a term. A term life is what you are referring to, if I understand. In term life, your policy is activated for a certain period of time. Like 20 years you need to pay. But also for 20 years you don't get this premium what we have given. Probably it's going to be 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 for 20 years. That's what you're doing. What we have got is per annum. It's a group life insurance that is renewable every year. So for example, today you are 60, so for this year, this is the premium. Inshallah, next year, we never had any claims. Alhamdulillah, no one died from our community. Then we will also go and negotiate with them to reduce the premium down. But if the insurance sees that we have so many deaths, then the next year they are going to renegotiate the rates with us.
Every year is going to be different.
So it's an annual based one. It's an annual based negotiation. So that is part one of the question. Part two. Part two is that your health comes after 65. Assume that there are some medical tests. And the medical tests that we have in the form. The medical tests that we have, these are the common tests. It's not something so anyone above 65, the base rate has been, my brother Mohammed Jawad had said about that base rate. Based on the risks that that person is exposed to, thereafter loading is going to happen. So, example, let's assume So let me explain it. So from 18 to 65, no medical test. Anyone above 65 to 75, assume that you want to take a premium of $100,000. You have 805. Your premium for anyone above 65 to 75 is 805. And this is per annum. So within that year something happens, the beneficiary gets that amount. So 805 is a baseline. Thereafter, that person needs to go for a medical test. What are these medical tests? These medical tests are definitely HIV screening, ECG, blood chemistry studies, that is diabetes, cholesterol, creatinine levels to understand. Now assume that you don't have any of this disease. We have a healthy community and we pray, inshallah, we'll have that. Then your baseline remains the same, 805. Yeah? If at all, assume that you have, that person has having any of the sickness that we have said, then they create a base. The base is 805 and they load a certain amount. So probably loading can be 100 or $200 or $300. Because as it is, they also see the risks of that person. Number one, age is a risk. That's why they are low. But then a person is having multiple or 5, 6. Assume a person with human immunovirus, is bound to happen with multiple issues. So that's how they are going to calculate. I hope I answered.
Yes. Can I change the policy? Can I start with 25,000 and the next year I can go 50,000? After 5 years I can go $200,000?
Definitely. This is per annum. You want to start today at 25. Next year you want to go at 50 when you are paying. Yes, you can go for 50. If you want to go for 100, yes, you can go for 100. Inshallah, next year we'll also look if we can get more of the same, at the same affordable rate to reach that. Yes, you can.
Christian Saulan, for example, what the Islamic Jamaat of women he passed away. So where are we going to claim this insurance and how many days the family will get the payment? કેમ કે જ્યારે કોઈ ઓળખે છે કે 2 મહિના 3 મહિના એવી જમાત કે because they will come to the jamaat. We will claim to Africa Federation, right? Okay, we will go direct to the insurance. And how many days it will take the payment?
It's a good question. I want to answer in this way. When a death occurs, definitely જ્યારે કોઈના ઘરમાં મુસીબત આવે છે, કોઈ માણસ ઓફ થઈ જાય છે, we cannot reverse, no way you can reverse that part. પણ જ્યારે એટલીસ્ટ ઓલા ફાઇનાન્સ પાર્ટ જ્યારે હોય છે, જ્યારે પૈસા આવે છે, જેમાં એક બેનિફિટ પણ લાગે છે, that is the time the screen fell down, Mohammed Jawad was explaining, was benefit. One of the benefit is that the family na ઘર હોય છે. I want to say something and then I'll come to this. It is, there are certain deaths that happen in the hospitals. That person dies, but he has left a medical bill. And the next of kins, they are worried who is going to pay that medical bill. During COVID time, I personally witnessed that there are few known individuals that they died at the hospital, but their bills were at 50-60 million. And few of the families had to go out to seek for loans. So this kind of loans will be removed. Number 2, mortgages. A person has taken mortgage from the bank, udhar lido છે, તો આ પૈસા ઈ ભરી શકશે. બરાબર? બચ્ચાનું સ્કૂલ ફીસના આપણે વાત કર્યા, રેન્ટના પાનામાં વાત કર્યા. Now, important question what you have said, you have classified one question into 2. One is, what is the time frame of getting that amount? That is one. The second part, is it who is going to claim? Is it Jamaat? Is it that individual? Is it Africa Federation? So how we are going to do? So ideally, my answer towards that we can have the maximum period of 3 months, provided maximum period, I'm using the word maximum, provided you have submitted all relevant documents. Example, for the death claim, my brother said that you get at $1,500 for the funeral expense. In Kiswahili we say kutia machozi, yeah? Yeah. So you get that 1,500. But how does insurance know that this person has died? You need to submit, that person's family need to submit the burial certificate. Who gives out the burial certificate? It's a Jamaat. You give to that member. That member can send it to us as Africa Federation. We'll have a central board. We'll be fighting for our members. Provided they are genuine, we are saying the truth. This is where we have to participate. When we are saying truth, yes, this is the insurer is going to give us. So for funeral expense within 48 hours, provided you give the document. It should not happen that you are expecting when the documents are not there. That certificate is not there. Yeah? When it comes to the death, so that we need to have the documentation. If the documentations are there, we can get it within a month, that amount. Okay? It goes within a month. But if the documents are not there, you don't expect for 3 months also you are going to get that amount. You need to have that the family of deceased, the next of kin need to submit that document. So that documents can come to FI at Central Health Board. We can have a dedicated team. Yeah. In fact, we can have a dedicated person for just this kind of work because we are anticipating to have health insurance later on. He's going to do or she's going to do an administrative work. So they can send, our person is going to talk with the insurer, with our broker. Broker is going to correspond. They are going to fight with the insurance to ensure that this amount is paid. So that answers part number 2, the time frame. So simplest way, maximum is that amount, but within the time frame provided you have given the document. Now the third question, where does the money come from? The money is going to be paid to the beneficiary's account. Example, assume that I am a member. Let me use my example. And I have written the beneficiary's, I'll keep Molana's name. I've given Shahid's name. I've given Muhammad Jawad's name. We all belong to Zanzibar, assume for that moment. So that money is going to be sent in percentage. I've kept 3 names. I've said 34% to Molana, 33% to Shahid, 33% to Muhammad Jawad. So that while they are when they are remitting the funds, 33% will go to Muhammad Jawad, 33% will go to Shahid, and 34% will go to Molana. How do they go? In the form, we have beneficiary details. So beneficiary details, you write the name of the person, the passport copies, the passport number, ID number, and birth of date. So these are all unique numbers that cannot be done. Upon the death, once it is been escalated, they will also ask us, and it comes a time whereby they ask for account details. And thereafter you need to sign the discharge voucher, and that's how the insurance claim is taken.
For example, the person went to India. He's my Jamaat member. He passed away in India. So how I'm going to claim his insurance?
So you are talking as individual, not Jamaat, yeah?
No, I'm talking about Jamaat because he's
So-
my member. He went to India. So for Bakimaya, he got the visa to go.
Okay.
What shall Jamaat do, or how can we claim?
Okay. So the process is very simple. He died in India. Okay? He was a member of Zanzibar. So what you can do for your member is that you can testify that he has died. The first thing is that we will anticipate from CHP that his family members will notify CHP that our member has passed in India, he had gone for whatever reasons. Okay? Best known to him. What he does, he gives us a death certificate from India. He just need to scan. So within 48 hours, we'll arrange that $1,500 for that main member has reached to the beneficiary's account. Part 1. Part 2. Now he died in India. You have already testified because you got, is your member, you also testified, is got. So the first part is within 48 hours, we'll pay 1,500. Part 2. The part 2 is that you are looking at the death benefit. The death benefit is either $25,000, $50,000, or $100. So what you are looking at, how do we pay, or how does demand? So number one, the next of kings, who are the beneficiaries, they will intimidate to us that our member, the main insured member, this was the number, this is the passport details, these are the details, he passed away in India, these are the documents, we have a list of documents, in case of death, what is to be submitted. These are the documents that requires, as soon as that person gives that, they send it to us, we'll send it to the insurer, they'll process it. When there is any correspondence, we'll also give whatever documents is required on our end. As soon as they give, we'll share the details. Those amounts would go directly to the members. It won't pass through like after, because the policy holder is the main member. It's not FF, it's not CHP. It's on the main member. That's how it is. I hope it clarified. Is it clear on this part?
A person has to be a member of Jamaat. If someone is staying here, he wants to take insurance, but he wants to apply for that. Can we allow him to get that insurance if he is not a member?
So the question is very good. I'll also answer this way. This scheme we did for our community. That's the mandate that CHP has. For us to know who is member, who is not member, it's very hard. We won't be able to reach everyone. Okay? Let's assume, and this is a reality. While we are launching this life, effort life, there is one of the communities which are not they are non-Muslims, I would say. They also had asked for this one. But the negotiations what we have done, it is for our community throughout Africa. Your questions, I'll answer this way. In that form, we have stated that as soon as a person writes his details, he submits to his Jamaat, you Jamaat need to endorse it. So if Jamaat endorses it, it is okay for me. I take on what endorsement the Jamaat is giving. I hope it clarifies.
Ladies and gentlemen, want to ask a question?
If we have 2 questions here, one here.
One is that can I terminate my policy? Can I pay for 2 years? And then if I can't afford, I can terminate after 2 years, and then can I rejoin again? And if I rejoin again, do I have to stay for 3 months to be activated? That's question number 1. Question number 2, if I get refund of 30%, let's say I insured 200,000, I get 15,000. I have done open heart surgery, it is 10,000. Will I get 10,000 only? Will I get 15,000?
So I'll answer this way. I'll start with part number 2. So part number 2 is with critical illness. That's what you are referring to. So the understanding with critical illness is very simple. It's very simple. You get 30% of the amount, insured amount. So for $100,000, you will get $30,000. For $50,000, you get $15,000. So assume that you were diagnosed, you have already started also a medication. Assume that you spent $5,000. You spent $5,000. What you are entitled to get is $15,000. The insurance will give you $15,000. Whether you spend $2,000, whether you spend $5,000, $7,000, $10,000, $11,000, they will flat out give you 30% of your insured amount. 1. Part 2. That was question number 1. That you decided to pay 2 years in advance. So this policy is cash and carry policy. And it's only, they won't take money for 2 years. They are just going to take per annum. So today you paid the amount, you have filled your form, we have sent your name, 3 months waiting period is gone. That's done. You have your policy activated. Yeah. Next year you will pay again. It's not that you have to pay 2 years. You have to pay today for the premium of that 1 year. $403, that's it. Now next year, when you are going with the same policy or the same broker, that's a global rule. You don't need to wait for 3 months because you have already done the first time.
No, but I told you for 5 years, I came out of the process. I didn't have money to pay yearly. I came out and then I rejoined again after 5 years.
So basically, after 5 years, definitely, mostly what I understand that it's the one time that you have to wait for three months. That's the policy. However, by then the rules may change that I may not be able to answer. Example, life insurance benefit amount are tax-free amount. Yeah, but like assume there might be a country that now they are introducing to bring taxation on these things. So we may say this one, but probably due to the regulation of that country it has changed. So all those things need to be taken. I hope I answered.
Ladies.
Yeah.
Assalamualaikum. First, we really appreciate the people are here, Alhamdulillah. Very thanks from us, please. My question is, 65 plus, those who want to apply for this insurance, have to be, are they going to be checked first, or we can just fill the form like that? Number two, if we know ourselves, we are patients, but we are under treatment. Example, cancer patients, but we're still on the medications. Can we apply this insurance? That's my question.
Any other questions?
Yeah. And in case, okay, you say we have to go to the hospitals in Dar es Salaam. Without us, something is more. We are needed outside. Will this insurance cover us? That's my question, please.
So can we stop this slide?
I can pause it. Stop.